Jeffco Public Schools does not want to lose any funding, so that's why they're suing the Trump administration. We'll explain coming up here at 6 o'clock.
A Colorado university is making history with a new reusable cup system, how it could change the way students grab their morning caffeine fix.
And new this morning, a look at the top 10 campgrounds in the mountain region, with a few spots from Colorado making the list. Good morning and thanks for joining us here on this Wednesday. I'm Drew Carney.
And I'm Corey Rose here with Katie LaSalle. Storms have let it cool down just a little bit. It sounds like more storms are in the future today.
Yes, and it's always great, especially after such a dry winter, spring, summer, to see rain. And we do have that in the forecast. Flooding concerns, the biggest issue with the threat that we will see with some of those cells later on. But monsoonal moisture, we've been talking about it for days and days. That is still impacting Colorado. That will bring us scattered thunderstorms and showers as we get into this afternoon and evening. But this morning, from Horsetooth Reservoir to downtown Denver, it's a mix of sun and clouds. It'll be mostly sunny skies, a pretty pleasant, nice summer Wednesday morning here across the state to begin. And then it'll be after about 2 o'clock. We'll see that activity develop. Now, 60s this morning, slightly cooler than yesterday, higher levels of humidity. And you can see from our satellite and radar composite, we have been watching this moisture swirl in. And yesterday evening, we did see some heavier rain over the southeastern plains. Not in effect just yet, but the National Weather Service issuing flood watches for the Aspen Acres burn scar, Colorado Springs, and south for some heavier excessive rainfall expected there today. Now, your Denver forecast out the door this morning, it'll be mostly clear skies. Temperatures by noon in the upper 80s. This is very seasonal for this time in late July. Still warm, but highs in the low 90s expected by 2 o'clock. Then scattered in nature, the storms that we do see form. It'll be between 2 and 7, it looks like, at least for portions of the metro area spreading east across the plains. From 70s and 80s in the mountains, I'll break down futurecasts coming up, but the flood threat with the strongest cells will be with us today. Warmer and drier starting tomorrow, heading into the weekend. Potential weather impacts for heat. Your 7-day forecast coming up in just a few. But Brianna, how are you looking on the roads right now?
Yeah, we are tracking our first crash for the morning here in your traffic impact center. We do have crews there on scene. This is happening on the on-ramp from southbound Wadsworth Boulevard, then on-ramp to I-70 and I-76. I'm just seeing crews there blocking that left shoulder, but I am seeing drivers who are still taking that right lane for anyone taking I-70 into the on-ramp to I-70 and I-76. So I want to switch things over to our main maps and get to your drive times. Right now in the 6th Avenue area, so in the Lakewood area heading towards I-25, it's going to be a 7-minute drive, and you can see that crash icon just popped up from that CDOT camera that I mentioned, but again, it's not a significant impact. And then I-25 heading downtown to the tech center, southbound 12 minutes, 11 if you're heading north.
All right, thanks, Brianna. In our news headlines here at 6 o'clock, Denver police are asking for help to find the people responsible for a string of burglaries at a business in the Glendale neighborhood. Police say the first break-in happened on June 27th at an apartment building located on East Kentucky between South Dexter and South Dahlia. Investigators believe the two people you see here on your screen went through the back door of that business and stole over $4,000 worth of furniture. The next day, the same two people returned and took 2 other tables along with a few packages from the mailroom. The pair left in a dark-colored SUV. Anyone with information is asked to contact Metro Denver Crime Stoppers.
A teenager in Boulder is suing 2 police officers after he says they mistook him for a bank robbery suspect. Leo Wise was 17 when Boulder police detained him while they were searching for a robber last year. Wise says he was tackled off of his bike and put into handcuffs. He claims officers acknowledged that he wasn't the guy they were looking for, but continued questioning him anyway.
I remember them saying that I pretty much exactly matched his description, which I later learned was pretty far from the truth.
The department did conduct an internal investigation and found one sergeant should have released Wise after officers realized that he wasn't the suspect. The other officer was cleared of wrongdoing. Both still work for Boulder police.
A man and his business are both being investigated. The man is accused of accepting thousands of dollars from 2 homeowners in Jefferson County and never doing the landscaping projects that he was paid to do. Court documents show Ulysses Diaz advertised and operated landscaping businesses across the metro area under the name My Son's Landscape. In June, the sheriff's office got 2 separate theft reports, including Diaz and his business. In both of those incidents, the homeowners reported entering into contracts and paying deposits that totaled more than $32,000. According to the investigation, no work was ever done on either project, and Diaz stopped communication with both people. Diaz was arrested last week. He faces 2 felony theft charges.
A woman who was arrested by ICE as she was trying to board a flight at DIA last week could soon be released. An immigration judge just granted her bond. Chantel Alejandra Morales Rojas was taken into custody on July 20th. A GoFundMe set up on her behalf says she has a work permit with a pending asylum case. ICE says she's in the country on an expired visa. The judge set her bond at $3,000.
It's been a month since a tuberculosis case was reported at the ICE detention center in Aurora, and public health investigators say they are still locked out of that facility by immigration agents.
People were exposed, and so we don't know how many people, and so that's the problem. I think it's particularly in close quarters. It is highly infectious. It is difficult. It's not easy to treat.
ICE maintains there's only been one confirmed case of TB, and that person was already treated and deported. Denver Mayor Mike Hoffman of Aurora now threatening legal action against the facility if they don't let public health officials inside. The city has approved new requirements for period inspections and mandatory outbreak reporting, but they're not retroactive. Adams County Public Health still says they do not have the information or the access to complete this investigation. Now, we did reach out to GEO that operates that facility to ask if they'll comply with Aurora's request. They sent us one sentence response referring to us to ICE, and they did not respond to our questions.
Jeffco Public Schools is suing the Trump administration. This after the Department of Education challenged the district's policies surrounding transgender students. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch is covering this story for us live outside of the school admin building. And Janelle, after months of back and forth, Jeffco filed this lawsuit just yesterday.
Good morning, Corey. The district says that it would have to violate state anti-discrimination law in order to meet the feds' demands. The district says that the two are in conflict and it simply can't comply with both. So in this suit, the district is asking a judge to tell them which law to break. The district receives more than $50 million in federal funding each year. Jeffco is asking a court to rule on if they can keep that money while still following Colorado law. This all stems from a March accusation from the Department of Education that Jeffco was violating Title IX. The federal government said it found 61 boys on Jeffco girls' sports rosters and violated civil rights of female students. The lawsuit says that the district told the feds it had no boys competing on girls' teams and that the government misread the rosters, which included male mascots, trainers, and managers. Jeffco says it has repeatedly asked the feds to publicly address the error, but they refused. The lawsuit shows that Jeffco was willing to meet the feds part way, agreeing to post Title IX complaint procedures as well as run staff training, but the district was not willing to issue apology letters to female athletes, nor were they willing to accept the administration's definitions of sex and gender. 9 News has reached out to the Department of Education and has yet to hear back. Live in Jefferson County, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
All right, thanks, Janelle. Governor Polis, meanwhile, is handing over a controversial issue to the state's next administration after a legal battle cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer money. This has to do with a fight over whether certain data gets handed over to ICE. Immigration enforcement has been trying to get information on people who are sponsoring children who entered the country illegally and unaccompanied. ICE says this is about making sure that these children are not living with dangerous, unvetted people or they're being trafficked. Colorado law blocks state and local governments from sharing this information, though. The governor was going to turn over the details anyway until a state employee sued to stop it. So now Governor Polis says he'll let the next governor decide what to do.
A new wildfire in southwestern Colorado is forcing people out of their homes. The Rio Blanco fire started earlier this week in Archuleta County, just south of Pagosa Springs. It's burned about 120 acres. Pagosa Springs High School is set up for evacuees. The county fairgrounds will be available for livestock, and the nearby Humane Society will take in smaller animals. It's not clear just yet what started this fire.
It's not just people who are stepping in to help people impacted by the Aspen Acres fire, but animals as well. Donna Andrews and her search dog are working to locate missing and displaced animals. A well-trained dog can follow a scent for miles to determine where a lost pet may have been. Andrews is also training other dogs and their owners to do the same.
More been people who are displaced and then their animal isn't familiar with where they are now and may get out. Learning to read a dog is very different. When we're tracking, we really don't know how they experience it. We just kind of have guesses.
That dog, by the way, has already played a role in a search effort for evacuees' missing pet at Lake Pueblo State Park.
So smart. It is 6:08 and down near the Aspen Acres burn scar area today, we do have the potential for more flash flooding. I'll take you through that momentarily. But if you're heading out to Denver International Airport, Mostly clear skies this morning, dry conditions until noon, 86 degrees by that point. We're right now sitting around 70 degrees, but thunderstorms and showers once again in the forecast, scattered in nature. The coverage will be widespread here across Colorado. So after 1 o'clock into portions of the mountains, then the foothills, the I-25 corridor, we have that chance of seeing some rain over the Denver area through this evening. We'll talk more about the totals we're anticipating as well coming up after the break.
And southbound I-25 this morning from 144th down to I-76. Still quiet this morning just after the North Glen and Federal Heights area. You're only looking at a 9-minute drive.